Hello, everybody. I'd like to welcome you to the LFO show, the LFO Experience, Love, Forgiveness, and Oneness. And today we're going to be discussing the Essenes and the Seven Mirrors. But first, I'd like to say a couple of things. I'd like to tell you what I'm going to be doing here in the future. And I will be doing them out of the Enchanted Forest, or you can contact me through the LFO Experience. And just so you know, that's out there. Just make a call and we can talk more about this. I want to introduce the people that are here and sharing this experience with me tonight and let them tell a little bit of what they can know tonight. We'll go ahead and start with you, Gloria.
My name is Gloria Bell, and I am basically right now doing clearing of emotional trauma. We'll do it, and we can clear trauma. It's memories in your cells from past lives, this life, genetics that have come down from your parents, and it's doing amazing things for people. Get rid of stuff that they don't even know they have in them. And otherwise, I do some healing work too. And my website is ebooksforbeautyandhealth.com.
Hi, my name is Amari Garcia, and I actually am a shaman. So I do shamanic work. I do soul retrievals, shamanic healing, finding your power animals, and of course the channeling and a whole lot of other things, spiritual extractions, house clearings, and many other things. You can look for me at shamanoflight.webs.com. Thank you.
Hello, hi, I am Zoraida. And what I'm doing right now, I am promoting the new energy sound Reiki. And basically this Reiki, nobody really knows about it because it's just been so new. And the reason why it's so good, because unites all Reikis, Reiki Karuna, Shambhala, Usui, and this Reiki helps you with the sound and Sanskrit name that is going to be seen, helps you to remove and faster. So if you are interested, you can find in Facebook as Zoraida Oni, and you can find more information there. Thank you.
All right, and what do you, Will?
Greetings. I am Dashi Hinshu Sen, a Buddhist in the process of setting up a non-sectarian Buddhist temple and spiritual chapel center. I don't have a location yet, but wheels are turning. And I'm also a Reiki master. So for information on my new projects, will be templewhitelotus.com.
All of you here. And so tonight, as a form of healing, we're going to be discussing mirrors and principles for us so that we can look at them and walk through them for ourselves at the same time we look reading with the healing. Did that make sense? I'm really confusing you in the mirrors. Okay. That's a good start. Okay. But the principles are from those scenes like we talked about. And what we're going to do is we're going to have everybody read, and then we're going to discuss our feelings on that first mirror. So, Zoraida, go ahead on the first one.
Okay. The first mirror reflects to us that which we are. It's something we ourselves are doing or where we ourselves have been in error or wounded. Very powerful.
Very powerful. So,
Well, reflects to us that which we are. So basically, whatever we are or when we are at this moment is that what we're doing. We're just reflecting ourselves exactly as we're thinking, as we're acting, where we are right now. That's exactly what it says here. And it says something we ourselves are doing or where we ourselves have been embedded. So a lot of us, or basically most of us, we've been wounded in areas that affects each of our life, each part of our life. So that's why we cannot sometimes be happy, or we try to find the perfect, mate, because we just been wounded and we attract what we have. So I guess that's how we interpret it.
Yes, that's good. I know what I would like to say on that is, when I thought I'd done all this work and all of this, but I'd been in some pain from a terrible divorce and losing my daughter, and everywhere I turned, everybody was angry. They were like just angry. Everybody's angry. The whole world is angry. I don't understand this. And then I was like, oh, I guess I'm angry. I have some rage going on here. So maybe I better look within and do some healing on the rage, and that's kind of my example of when I really started seeing, and then if this can be shown to me, what can be shown to me when I'm feeling good? When I really work on myself, when I start doing everything to release, no matter what judgment was around it, no matter what was going on within me, I had to change it. I had to release some pretty awful things about the pain I've been through, as we all do. But I mean, when the whole world is telling you how angry, anger is everywhere, that's a scary place to be. You are in some deep rage, but I feel like I've moved past that. And so that's my example of this, first mirror. Anyone else? Sorry.
My experience is I usually look at what's happening around me. From the shamanic point of view, I can tell you that your surroundings give you a lot of information about what you're going through deep inside of yourself. And so even if you see a cat running across your path, it's telling you something. If it's, somebody's having an argument right next to your house, that shows that chatter you have in your mind. But when you're speaking to you about what you have inside of you, it just talks about what's going on. And so that's a good way for me to reflect on what I need to go find inside of me to work at it. Because it's showing you, the world is showing you that. So same thing when you have loving thoughts about yourself, everything shows you love. Right. You see children playing, they're joyful, they're happy. You hear love songs, it's just ecstatic. So you have to look at your surroundings and how people are interacting, not necessarily directly with you, but also around you. And that's how you know. Idea. Yes, it's a great idea to check your
witness, and I like that where you don't have to be right in it.
Right. But see, a lot of people don't do that. We have to be the observer of ourselves. It's a scary thought.
Oh, yes.
When you look at yourself and you're so angry, and you look at yourself in the mirror, you see your face, you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that's me. But it is a reflection of what's going on, and it's who you are at that moment. So,
and the first time we did this LFO at the house, the meetup, we did this thing with the mirrors. And I didn't realize how important this mirror thing was to me. But it really is, and becoming more and more aware of who we are. And that's a great example.
Yes.
Well, I've never been one for looking around me. Explain that. I was thinking back at some of the times, like when Las Vegas started crashing. I thought they were horrible, and I was getting that feeling, but it didn't die to me. It was everybody else.
Oh no!
Yeah. So now I'm going to have to start looking all around me and seeing what I'm doing.
But like what you're saying is a perfect, I love one's in a big war consciousness. That's when consciousness is crumbling. And we are such a shift in New Age right now that, so what you were saying was on a big too. That's big when consciousness changes. Beautiful.
Pretty much what we perceive in the outside world is pretty much what we project. What we project is what we perceive of ourselves. And there's always holes and dark places and unfinished business. And it reminds me that that's why we need to do metta basis to get in there and fall into those gaps and holes. And with love and without judgment, let them teach us about ourselves without fear, basically. And eventually, that's what we'll project out and back.
Right, that's very good. Yeah, and of course fear is one of the mirrors in this too, so this is great.
Figured it would be.
Yeah, beautiful.
It always falls in there somewhere.
Yeah, right. Okay, so, the second.
This one here.
the second.
There we go. Sorry about that. The
Yeah.
second mirror reflects to us that which we judge. It is something we have an emotional charge with, something we have either been wounded by in the past and have not forgiven. It is good to discern. However, if we judge and condemn with an emotional charge, we judge pretty much speaks right to exactly what I just said. So.
Yeah. You know, the thing is, this is this awakening, listening to this again and thinking about it. I heard something today and I was so triggered. I just was losing it. And it was about, I have a terrible judgment about people abusing children. I mean, who doesn't? Probably. But there's charge for me. When I heard it, it made me violent, almost like, not violent really, but, you know, so angry because, you know, that happened to me. And until right this moment, I didn't realize how much I was judging and just be the witness and not be on either side of that emotionally. And, you know, I realize now that that's something I need to work on because I can't stand the thought of children, you know, being sexually abused. Yeah. So that and the judgment and knowing that there's an energy charge there. So,
But again, it goes back to the fact that the universe is presenting this. So you can heal that aspect of the abuse. Because even though you have done the work, it'll present itself again.
in a bigger way, though, to me.
Yes, but it's like an onion. One peel, one layer at a time. So that eventually, yes, you will have a reaction, but it's not going to be so with anger.
Yeah, well, it's charged. I guess this is what I was thinking too. Is like this is the first time the charges made me want to do something about it and find the compassion within it. Before it was just me, you know. I was always looking at my situation or whatever. But now when I hear it in the world, because that my situation does trigger me a little bit. There's a little charge that I probably need to release. Is what I'm thinking when I got so angry. But I also think there's something I want to do to help, you know, with that judgment.
So in the past, if you had that reaction, the anger, the lack of justice, because you were perhaps little or incapable of taking care of yourself. But now that you can, it's true about it. How can you change that? Right. How can you contribute to that change?
Right.
So it helps a lot in that aspect. Yeah. Because now you can not the victim anymore.
Exactly. Yeah, it was a powerful feeling.
Yeah.
In a sense, yeah, for the most part.
Right.
You gotta get the next one.
Okay, the third mirror back to us gave away or had taken away. When we see something we love and desire in another, something we have lost, given away, or had stolen in our own lives. Every relationship is a relationship with self, and often we try to reclaim what was lost, gave away, or had taken away as a child. It could be joy, innocence, and integrity, courage, or love, all of which can be reclaimed within self. This is a really powerful one for me because my biggest petty tyrants have been my parents, and both of them. So what I really dislike in my mom, I've been projecting out without knowing. So I really have been taking a really close look at myself and see how I can change that. So I don't get angry because anger is such a big part of me. I hear of parents being just lazy parents, and it makes me mad because my mother never liked to work. So she didn't take responsibility for giving us a better life. And so that makes me very angry. So that means I have to look at myself again and say, what do I need to change?
Well, you're gonna love when we get to the God one. The God mirror is exactly what you just said, almost exactly.
Well, and something in a way, my inability to have a responsible parent.
Yeah.
And how can a parent be responsible when you're only a child?
So, you know, then you look at your life and say that was taken from you, and so you become that in your life?
In my life, I reversed that.
Yeah. So you took that, what was lost, and became it. That was your mirror.
And became it so I could have that.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's pretty powerful. I don't know.
Oh,
Everything I disliked about my relationship with my mother, and there was many things she just wanted to scream, and still does. I found it to be the opposite.
Yeah.
My husband used to get me mad when he'd say, "You just like your mother." That would just send me into flames because I knew I wasn't.
And it's funny because in my relationships, I've seen that so many aspects have individuated me.
So you feel like you go for that what was lost and you're trying to reclaim it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, go ahead. Okay, so and we have a really good. So it was
The fourth.
the fourth. Okay. This one, you know, as I listened to it, I hope you listen to me. What it says here is it's the mystery of the fourth mirror of forgotten love. And this will be interesting. This will be interesting.
Okay, the fourth mirror reflects back to us our most forgotten love. This could be a way of life, a relationship, past life where a wrong conclusion from past experience was created. This will recreate them over registered in the soul as wisdom. Wow, this is really hitting home to me, and it's something. In a past life, I was Japanese. I was of noble and getting married to someone of noble birth, and had fallen. I was told this by the Akashic record. Fallen in love, and either the soldier was killed or put in prison for life. Didn't get a good ending on that one, and so because of that, I have never allowed myself to love. And in this life, I know I haven't. Sure, I was married for 37 years, but doesn't mean that, you know, I was Catholic and I was supposed to stay with my husband and, you know, all the rules of the road. And so I've never really truly loved that I know of now. So that's what that's saying.
Yeah.
But I was given permission to do so now that it was not my fault that what happened to him. So we'll see.
That's perfect. So then, you know where you need to resolve something to have love. Because you have to resolve that past
Yeah, I
life.
guess I should date too.
Yeah, that would work.
That would work.
Match.com.
Well, in that one, I would say that I felt that I never really felt love. And to love and to allow me to be loved, it's been hard in my life because I felt like I didn't deserve to be loved because what happened in my family that I was in the middle of the person who was loved and the other person who was loved and I was love given to me. So I never really had I had a relationship finding love because I thought that I didn't deserve it. Well, I don't know until today, but that part of not feeling that I deserve love hard on me, and that's why I stayed for so long in relationship. Me did this, did that, but I stayed there because I wanted to be with someone, even though they didn't love me or I didn't love them. I stayed for so long that I'm not, just now I am like, hello.
Well, you learn to love yourself.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that. So I love both examples that you gave there because that's the way of you're longing for a love,
Mm-hmm.
which I think so many of us have one form or this longing for. What this life's about is learning how to love ourselves first, and then we can love others. That's beautiful.
Mine would be different. Again, it's parental. I felt that I was not loved by anyone because neither my father was around, my mother was always around, but always very detached. So the way I figured out how to love myself or love in the other places was to look at the divine and take the divine as my parents. And to really forgive both of them. Still working on it, but it's the best way to approach it in a way that feels good to me.
Yep.
So even if you're an orphan or you have adult, you don't have the love from the physical beings, but you at least have that. And that,
I think that's most of us reconnect to love and is played through the divine.
and it's very difficult because we all want to have that person hug you and kiss you and tell you I love you, but I don't have that. I was not given that opportunity except for my son. But
Because you were able to give what you
Yeah,
did not
because
get.
you-
I would
right.
like that with my children too. That
Exactly.
exact way.
But But I've learned through my guides that I don't need the approval, that I have it. So that's a big lesson that I need to do.
I can remember the first time my mother said, "I love you." I was married and had children. I think it put me in shock.
I remember a lot of that too, at the same time. But that, I think you have in common.
Yeah. She must have read something to tell her to do that.
I like that one a lot. Okay. So, which is interesting that Mary reflects back to us mother and father. Okay. And it is often said that we marry our father or mother. We often have the same healthy and unhealthy patterns we learned as a child. Our fathers and mothers do as grandchildren are gods. Okay, so it will often reflect the same relationship we have with others and the father-mother-God principle. And I wanted to just look at this, yeah. So what the example that he shows that I watched with Greg Braden on this, it was beautiful. To take that list of your parents, their good attributes and their bad attributes, and really look at it. And when you look at it, when I looked at mine, I was stunned to see that that's how I saw God. Divine, once you realize that that's how you see God. Our parents have been characters, they're everything in our world for all this time. So if they're abusive, if they're whatever they are, they're controlling, never home, whatever. So do we trust God? If God is untrustworthy, if that's what our parents were. So it's hard for us to ever have that connection to God unless we go to the divine. And many of us have to figure that out through all of our struggles to go to the divine that way. But when I look at it, it fit me so to the T, and it changed something inside of me. I didn't believe God would be there when I wanted God to be there, because my parents weren't there. Nobody was going to protect me.
Wow.
That were, my daughter to live or whatever. I didn't believe she was going to, because, I didn't believe God answered your prayers. He might answer everyone else's prayers, which in my situation he did, because, and I know this is just a mirror, but I can't help get emotional sometimes when I think about it, because when I prayed and I thought, God is answering someone else's prayers tonight, and it's not mine. It's all those people who are getting her orders. But that's how I believe God was.
Mm-hmm.
He answers other people, but he just can't get to me because of all the things, And I went, wow, this is how I learned God, It's through my parents. That's what they showed me. And that's why my life turned out the way. When you understand this one principle within yourself, you can change that thing. Because it really was just me looking at it that way. I let go of it. I cried just because I'm touched, and that was such a big experience in my life. I mean, to lose my daughter, I learned so much about the world. I really did.
And it takes really painful situations, really the wisdom that you need and to understand how the world works. I mean, I've been through and away everything, and I really had to really trust and believe that it was going to happen to make it. Because
And
it
to
was
find God, right? Don't you
and
find
to
God
find
then?
God, because it was either put gas, in my car or eat.
Right.
Well, so depend on the divine and have faith, and that's what teaches us. They put you in a place where you have no choice, but to trust. And now I see the path. I'm good.
But I think that's when you realize that this isn't what God in it. You can't trust you. That's the place that you cross over.
But yes, I did ask myself,
Yeah.
why in the world are you serving everybody else but me?
Yes. Exactly. I get it.
Yeah. So,
It makes a lot of sense what you said about not trusting God, because you never had that trust from your parents. Well, this is basically my mom. But if you never had it, you never had the loving mother or someone to tell you, I love you. So you're gonna trust. You ask God, give me this, give me that, but you were never so this. You don't even know God exists, because at some point in my life, I felt like God didn't exist later, because
Because he
just-
wasn't in your life,
Yeah.
in your mind. One thing that I realized too, and at the same time that I understood this lesson recently, I got to go back and with my children and my grandchildren, and realized sometimes we don't think that role is important of being a mother and maybe love. And I realized, oh, those moments, like you just said, to be that loving mother, to lose children. I know that my kids, I adored my kids more than anything, so to lose a child was really hard because they are what taught me love. I may have not got it from my parents, but when I had my children, I knew what love was for the first time, you know? And so to lose one, so I knew how to do it, and that's very painful, but that job of mothering and giving love, so much love, it just such beautiful spirits. I mean, and I see, thank goodness my grandchildren are being loved so much. And I adored the heck out of them. And the fact is that I got to be in the moment with them. I got to just be there and be love for them too. And I think these kids today, where we've grown as a society, we're loving more, and we're going to bring in these beautiful souls with so much love. That that's how the world changes. The more love we're giving, and these relational kids, and we know how important it is to be a parent and to give that, and even to each, making that world of love that we want, just by those examples that have changed. I think that mirrors important to me. I ramble.
Makes sense.
Okay, who gets to be our next reader for the next one? This one, who would like to volunteer again?
He wants to volunteer.
Okay, the sixth mirror. The sixth mirror reflects back to us the quest for darkness, what is often referred to as the dark night, the greatest people that have been gathering the tools and understandings in life to confront them. God never gives anyone any more than they can handle. Their choice to read it as a powerful manifesting god or goddess, or as a victim. Yeah, it's kind of like that why daily meditation is important, because you've got dark night. That's where the proving ground is. That's where you can get rid of all the kerfluffery and all your false perceptions, and actually listen. You still know that I am God or that I'm goddess, and realize that the goddess and God is actually you inherently. So there's nothing to accept. There's nothing to let go of. It's just inherently okay. So it's in that moment where you're just okay. So.
Good example. Does anyone else want to go first on this?
Well, about the dark side, I got it until recently. I didn't know what it was really until, in order dark side, events, it must happen in your life in order for you to get rid of that, or even to acknowledge it. Because sometimes you're just angry, or you're just jealous or whatever, and you don't even realize that you are feeling that, and then emotions start coming up, and you don't know what is going on. But a situation, it has to happen in your life to realize how dark you are, because it just happened last week to me, how dark my feelings were, that I have all this suffering, all this anger, all these negative things. I want to tell God, why are you doing this to me? And, you just keep yelling and screaming until when you finish and you said, oh, but what was that thought? What was that feeling? So then after that, you said, but you have to go through all that process, otherwise you will never get rid of the dark side.
We were talking like, why in the world is this happening to me?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not getting it. I said, have you heard of the soul? I said, it's called the dark night of the soul, because it's when you in the darkest, and it really makes you see yourself deep in how dark it is in there. So in order to bring that, darkness out, to be healed, you need to go through it, to experience it. And it's not, I've been there, and I remember. I remember going, oh my gosh, I look terrible.
Well, it's like changing. You can go through the dark night of the soul for 10 years.
Oh, I did
And I think that I have been going through it.
I did it for 7 years.
Yeah.
And I couldn't see the end of it.
Yeah. I know exactly where you're
So, but now when I see it coming, not the same for the same duration, I know what it is. I can identify it. And I told her, I said, this is how it is. And she's like, gosh.
Yeah. But once you acknowledge it, events start happening to you, so you start getting rid of it. if you don't fight it, then it will go faster. But if you fight it, it will stay for 7, 10, or 15, or maybe all your life. You have to want it to let it go also, because it's not easy.
So are we the dark side? Basically, you've chosen to be the victim.
No, it's not that you have chosen them. There's things that need to heal within yourself. So they put you in that chaotic state. All the dark, not all of it, because you wouldn't be able to handle it. But some parts of your dark side will come out, or the shadow self to be healed. And so it's up to you how you want to play. Do you want to play, the warrior, or do you want to be the victim? Or what do you want to do? It's up to you.
I think this is something too, is that it can bring you the other end out to who you're really supposed to.
Right.
Watch yourself through the dark night.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it's also called the ego's death.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's when you're really letting go of old beliefs, I was abused, I was a victim, those kind of beliefs even. So in your healing, as you push through the dark night, and it can take time, what you may be avoiding, and while you stay in the dark night, this is what I say about myself right now, is that I stayed in the dark night longer than I should have, because I was so afraid
To become.
to become, to go ahead and do what I came here to do. I was so afraid of how that would feel to actually be on the other side of, because everybody's, overconfident. That's not the word either. I'm on the other side of having too much confidence, whatever that is, because I wanted to hide. And so I stayed in that dark night much longer than I should have.
Taking command
Yeah. And now it's time.
of who you are.
Yeah. You're like, I can just play this game a little longer over here, And then the world says, no, if you don't stop, we're going to slam to you again. I mean, it really does. You will crumble and crumble and crumble and crumble until you decide to fix. And I think that's the most beautiful part of coming through the dark night of the soul. And then there's one other, you're coming together with your own non-judgment of yourself and what you've been through. That's a really important part. And so in that, they say the dark and the light, you're bringing dark and light together, not only within yourself, but in the world, in people, because you're reconciling dark and light to be the same in energy. And that's kind of, and then when you do that, my understanding is that's when you can walk past fear. When it no longer, I'm afraid of dark, I'm afraid of this or this, those big fears, whatever they are, afraid of love. You start walking through that and change. Because fear, you're now reconciling those differences in yourself. And that's when you're true that you are. When you're really love and there's no fear, you're really able to do it, whatever that may be.
Well, basically you burn into ashes, and that's when you have the rise of the phoenix.
Okay.
They really,
Saw that in the movie.
Yeah.
and that's what happens. They really,
You have an idea.
break you down to where you're down to nothing, and then you just come out.
It's funny because Raul, if you were here tonight, would say it's burning from the fire within. You're going to ashes. He's not here to tell us that tonight, but it's just true. What we go through spiritually to have ultimate freedom and peace. But you have to go through the dark night, and I'm just excited. I think I'm kind of close to being at the end of the dark night right now. I'm open. Anyone else have anything on that?
Well, I was told that when I was in the womb, I made that decision to be the martyr or whatever. And a few years ago, actually, when I was opening up to everything, I had made the decision not to be the martyr anymore. That's what I was told.
See, beautiful.
Okay. And since then, things have been very different. Because I was becoming more spiritual and stuff, and finally understanding my feelings all my life, thought I was weird, and actually I was always fighting the system. And so I thought it was that, but now I'm understanding what's going on.
Well, you were just a little avant-garde from your generation.
And ours is a one age. No, but you know what?
No, we all learn from little, or whatever everybody says.
Right, your energy is so beautiful for us. When women study other generations, we learn from you. You know what I mean? I can't remember the
Now, I used to say the other generation, and now I'm it.
And you
First time I've heard it, it's like, I don't know if I like that.
But remember, I'm looking at you, looking at myself in the future.
Yeah, well, that's what I
And
used
we're
to
hoping
do.
to be as good as you. I am.
Yeah, you're gonna be as good as you are.
You are beautiful.
Thank you.
And you inspire me with, I don't want to talk about age, and we don't need to talk about that, but you just inspire me with your energy, and you can go all day long, and you teach me that that's how life can be, and I think it's just beautiful.
Well, that's because you're coming out. So.
What?
That's because you're coming out of the darkness.
Well, share me secrets.
That's
shall we?
right.
Watching you do that.
Okay. So here we got the seventh mirror. And I guess I didn't read this last one. Okay, the seventh mirror reflects back to us our self-perception. Others will perceive and treat us according to how we perceive and treat ourselves. If we have low self-esteem, acknowledge our wisdom and beauty, others will not acknowledge them. If we are angry, bitter, and unloving to others, they in turn will often react in the same way towards us. If we change our perception of ourselves, we change the world. Make to be kind, loving, and compassionate to ourselves and others. Remember the saying, the only reason anyone has power over you is if you want something from them, whether it be love, joy, or personal God connection. Maybe that something can be found within.
In other words, you put up with a lot from someone. If you want something from them, you put up with a lot of their.
Well, I mean, have you
No.
you've been in the relationship where all of a sudden they're your God? I mean, has everyone been in that one? They're your God in the sense that they're what your life's about in every aspect.
Only
You know what
because
I
they're
mean?
controlling.
Right? Have you been in that one? That's
Oh, yeah.
what I was saying. That's kind of what they're talking. So we only give, and we think they're controlling because we give them our power, but it's our perception because we created that. So self-perceptions are pretty interesting there, isn't it? I mean, really, like, you learn so much about yourself. And in my business, in the real estate business, I try and base my stuff on what's going on there. If I'm getting crazy, so I might be a little nuts, or whatever. But I've had a couple of occasions that I had some crazy people, and I was like, what's going on here? But, and so if things are getting better, we have these sessions, and I feel loving, you can feel that a lot of times when I'm in a good place, they want to give me a hug goodbye, and it's because that's how I feel about them, right? So self-perception, and how I'm feeling about myself, too. That's walk through some things when people are treating you and see you for who you are. Your self-perception is good.
Well, I wanted to share this, and this is very funny. Since I got married, everybody is telling me, "Oh, you look so lovely, you look so good, you lost weight." Even though I weight, thin, beautiful, you're glowing, you're all this and all that. And I keep saying, why everybody's saying that? And I'm still with the same pounds and everything is the same. But I think it's because you are accepting the love that I never accepted before. It's when my life is changing. The perception people are perceiving me differently because now I feel love and I can give love. So they are looking at me as a loving person, and then they can see the glowing or whatever. And it's in how they perceive that before and after had touch. When you start changing yourself, it's just amazing.
Well, when you start loving yourself, because
Exactly.
for you to be getting that beauty back in you, it's 'cause
You have to love yourself,
Yeah.
and then you accept that you can be loved. Then that's why people are perceiving me as a loving person, because before I said I am the same person, I am the same, but just the fact that I accept that being loved is what is now reflecting in me and what the other people are seeing.
Yes,
So it's just amazing.
it is just amazing. And by the way, we share our birthday, and it's coming up, so happy birthday
Happy
to you.
birthday to you,
Yeah, we
Sandra.
did. Yeah, it's surprising, but we have a few things in common.
Yeah, just
Anyone else share more on the mirrors or anything you want to share tonight?
For all
We're
the
staring at you.
Gail.
Yeah.
Sure.
Pretty much been summed up in your head, so.
Well, I have a better understanding of all of
Right.
it, because it was pretty deep for me. I don't usually go deep into things.
Nobody
I
likes
like
to
to
go
skim
deep,
over the
Gloria.
top and
Nobody.
get it, and that's it. I'm done.
So we find our true selves the deeper we go.
I think it's
Right.
because I don't want to find myself.
You are a beautiful person, and we want to find it, and we're seeing it already. So, more depth, Gloria.
Okay. All right.
Anyway, well, I'd like to thank everybody for being a part of this show tonight. I hope we all got something out of it. And for me, it was just fun to hear other people's perceptions and gain more understanding. And next week, what we want to do, or what I want to do, I should say we, I always say we, but it's me, is because I am opening my channel, I would like to, I invite people to come next week. And I'm going to do some mini, and I'm just going to invite people to come, and, if they want to do a love donation, fine, or whatever. I just want to share and, bring out the people coming. So I'd like to invite everyone to come, invite people, and let's just, share anything. You are welcome to. I'm always so open about stuff like this. I love what everybody does, the healings that you do. I appreciate all of you and the beautiful work you do. So I'd love to have you share anything you would like to. Thank you all for
Thank you.
being here.
Namaste.
There's
Happy
actually,
birthday, Xander.
I do have one thing to say. On June the 1st, there's going to be a heal-a-thon for a 18-year-old girl who has a brain tumor. The family doesn't have any money to take care of that, and so I will be giving 15-minute reading sessions, healing at the Enchanted Forest Reiki Center. There will be a lot of other healers as well, so if you want to contribute to the community and just to help out this little girl, come by. I will be there, and the money will be going for that, for her.
Okay,
Yes.
that'd be great.
Mm-hmm. So
June 1st.
June the 1st.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, beautiful. Happy birthday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and happy birthday to both of you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Namaste.
Thank you.
So are you telling your ages?
Excuse me?
Excuse